You want to live a life on fire and on mission. You want to be filled with such conviction and drive that you stop caring about what anyone thinks. You want to face each day alive, authentic, and fully present in every moment. With your wife, with your kids, on the street, at work. You want to bring yourself to the table and to stop bringing the watered-down, nice, what everyone wants version of you. You want that self to be a man who is burning in passion for Jesus, unafraid to bring his kingdom to anyone in your path, no matter what it costs you. You want to love the one in front of you without fear, without needing love back, and without reserve. You want to husband well. You want to father well. You want to shepherd your life well. You want to be a safe pillar for anybody around you. You want to experience God for real, to not just believe, but to know that he's got you and that he'll show up on your behalf, that he'll show up through you. You want to get to the end of your race and say, yep, I gave it everything. Jesus, you know I'm all in. And you want to know just how to get there. Welcome to Man Warrior King. I'm your host, Matt Halleck. Congratulations. You're among the violent taking the kingdom by force. You're among the chosen answering the call to rise above yourself. You're in the forge being stripped down and strengthened, and you will rise stronger, solid, unshakable. You are a man. You're a warrior. You are a king. Good morning, and thank you for listening again today to the Man Warrior King podcast. This is episode 2, and I am Matt Halleck, your host. I want to talk to you about a concept that's been kicking around in my mind for a while, and it's something that I never actually considered in this way for my first 30 years of life. It's this idea that a man's life, well, actually any Christian's life, you don't have to be a man for this to be true, any Christian's life is made up of 3 categories of beings, people, kind of, if you will. Ourself, that's one. God is the second, and then others is the third. Pretty basic stuff. You guys, if I gave you a test on that, I'm hoping that you would all get those 3 answers correct. Okay? Good. So, ourself, God, and others. And with each of those 3 beings or categories of beings or people, we have the choice to either have a high view of them or a low view of them. So we can choose to either esteem and think highly of and honor, or we can choose to look down on and think low of and to think this category or whatever is somehow lower than the others. And I want to expose what I think is a very sinister, sneaky, and probably pervasive lie that Christian men, I know, fall into left and right. Because the reason we do is because it feels Christian. Okay? So, let me explain what this is. As Christians, it's fairly obvious to us that part of the package deal of following Jesus is to have a high view of him. It's to esteem him. It's to honor him. It's to honor God. We have scriptures that say, love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your strength, with all your mind. We have the Bible from front to back beckoning us to surrender to Jesus, to surrender to the Lord, to follow him, to honor the Most High, to have no other gods before him, to know that
in the midst of it all, he is the one that we run to. Jeremiah tells us that the people were making the mistake of making their own cisterns or water tanks rather than going to God, who was the fountain, the source of living water. Okay, so we have a high view of God presented to us in the Bible, and that's obvious. If you don't have a high view of God, you're probably not following him. You probably wouldn't be a Christian. So we understand that much. And then we have others where it's also pretty plain to us that we are to have a high view of others. An essential part of the Christian doctrine and part of our lives as Christians is that we are called to love our neighbor. We're called to even love our enemies. We're called to do good when people do evil. We have over and over and over in the New Testament telling us to bear one another's burdens, to do our best to live at peace with one another. That if we say we love God but hate our brothers, then we are liars. All of this, it's so perfectly plain to us that we're to have a high view of others. Okay, and here, my friend, is the place where I lived stuck for most of my life, and it's in this third category of myself. Okay, I had this notion, and I wonder if you do, that in the middle of seeing others in a lens of honor and esteem, and seeing God in a lens of honor and esteem, I saw myself as low, as maybe even worthless, as a mere sinner saved by grace. I saw myself as wretched, and adhering to this idea that the closer that I get to God, the more wretched I will see myself to be, because I will be closer and closer to his goodness and his holiness. And this might offend some, and this might make some call me a heretic, but I'm going to say that is a load. And if you're living under that, I am willing to bet that you are suffering some consequences of it. Because, my friend, the truth is meant to set us free. And so if we're living according to an ideal, according to a concept or a teaching that keeps us bound in shame, in self-pity, in embarrassment, and lack of confidence, that is not freedom. That is not the truth setting us free. That's something that we believe to be the truth keeping us bound. And as a man, if you go through life with a low view of yourself, a low value for yourself, low esteem for yourself, I promise you, you will suffer because of it. You're going to lose. You're going to lose, and I don't want you to. So I'm telling you this. You are going to lose the attraction of your wife and of other women if you're not married, if you're looking for a wife. If you have a low view of yourself, you will not earn her respect. You will not earn her attraction, her affection, her admiration. If you do not love yourself, it will be difficult for her to truly love you also. Because with a low view of yourself, with thinking of yourself as worthless and as such a dirty sinner, but thank goodness Jesus saved you, then you won't have confidence to lead your woman, and she wants you to lead her in strength, in decisiveness, knowing that even if you're making the wrong decision, you are awesome enough to pick yourself up and correct course. She wants to know that she is not floating out all alone, taking the lead for her family while you sit back and follow her leadership and try to make her happy because you're not man enough to suck it up, gird up your loins, and make a decision. Oh, friends, this is crucial. This is crucial. We can't go through life feeling like we're living the amazingly excellent example of a Christian life by loving everybody and loving God and keeping ourselves out of that process, keeping ourselves out of being the recipients of that same love. Jesus did say to love your neighbor as yourself. He said to love your neighbor the same way that you love yourself. He didn't say love your neighbor instead of yourself from now on. Because I'm telling you, that's what I got growing up. Not by anybody's intention, but that's what I heard. To love my neighbor instead of loving myself anymore. And it just plain doesn't work, you guys. And it can feel unchristian. It can feel like you are all of a sudden becoming some worldly heathen who cares about yourself and you think you matter and you have something good to say, when all along you've been conditioned to think that you only have something good to say if it's exactly, quoting from the Bible, that you must decrease and get out of the way and get and hide yourself so that Jesus must increase. In Christianity, we kind of leave the world of it has to be all one way and not the other. We leave that world behind. We seem to think that, well, if I'm losing my life for the sake of someone else and I'm supposed to love somebody else as if they're better than me, then that means that I don't love myself and I'm not worth anybody's time. We think of this in this terms of all or nothing. And I am pretty darn sure that when Jesus came, he actually said, now it's not all or nothing anymore. It's both and. It's both you are worth everything and your wife is worth everything. It's both you lose your life and she loses her life. It's both you lose your life and you find your life. It's both you consider herself as more than you and you consider yourself as an amazing son of God who is worth joy, who is worth somebody being devoted to, who is worth the affection of your wife. It is both and, people, and he even considers it that way between us and him. I've been listening to a lot of the Old Testament lately, and there's the story of Abraham going out with the Lord, looking out over Sodom and Gomorrah, and God tells him, all right, Abraham, check it out. In a little while, I am going to destroy this city. And you want to see a really good example of somebody approaching the Lord with a high view of him and a high view of themselves. It's right here. And Abraham, he has the audacity to question God's judgment. And for many of us today, we would think, no, I will not question God's judgment. He's God. Who am I? I'm just a worm. If it's happening this way, it must be God's will, and who am I to pray anything different, but your will be done. I'm telling you guys, this is what we feel like is the Christian thing. But in this story, Abraham says, God, forgive me, and please don't let your anger get kindled. So right there, he's got a high view of God. He understands that he is walking into the throne room of the king, and he is beseeching the one with authority. Clearly, he is not in the power seat in this relationship. he understands that and he conveys that, and he's not speaking out of irreverence for the Lord. Yet then he follows it up with this, but God, what if there's 50 righteous people in that city? You wouldn't destroy it then, would you? And God relents and he says, okay, no. And Abraham continues to press him, and he says, what if there's 45? What if there's 30? What if there's 20? What if there's 10? And he keeps on going, and he keeps questioning the Lord, and he keeps pushing the limits and pushing the boundaries of relationship, all the while saying, God, please don't get angry, but I'm not happy with this. I need to know something more about you. I need to know that you are more than who I'm seeing you to be right now. And God doesn't say, Abraham, who are you to question me? Who are you to change the mind of God? You don't know. He says, yeah, Abraham, you're right. To honor you, yeah, I would not destroy it if there were 10. You're right. He's engaging with a powerful person, Abraham, in a powerful relationship. The Lord is not interested in a codependent, one-sided relationship where we bring nothing to the table and we completely lose our identity because we are just nothing in the light of God, and so we become nothing in the relationship, and we're just a rag doll tossed around by whatever he wants. He's not interested in that. That's not how marriage is supposed to be. That's not how he wants our marriage with him to be. He's interested in being a powerful being, God, relating with lesser but still powerful human beings. He wants a powerful relationship with somebody who says, God, I've got thoughts, and I disagree with you here. And we need to talk about this because I don't like what you're doing. I love you, and I think you're really good, and I'm really excited to be with you, but I don't like what you're doing right now, and it's making me feel this way. I feel like in order for that spot to be relieved in me, I need for you to do X, Y, or Z. I need for you to change your plan here. Or God, I don't like your idea there. I think we should do this. And obviously there are boundaries within this thing, but that's what God gets excited about. And you see it again in his relationship with Moses. Moses is always questioning and challenging him, but in a place of intimacy and respect and friendship and love, not in a place of outright defiance and bitterness. But it's a powerful relationship, and that's what God wants for us too. So it all comes back to having this high view of others, of God, and finally, friend, a high view of yourself. If you have a high view of all three of those types of people in your life, now you are living in the recipe for kingdom authority, kingdom power, for kingdom joy, rest, to living out the mission that has been given to you.
This is Matt Halleck signing off and thanking you again for being a part of the Man Warrior King community. If you want more, head over to manwarriorking.com. And please remember to take just a couple seconds to subscribe on iTunes and to leave a 5-star rating and a review so that more and more men can join us as we become awesome. You are a kingdom man. Go out, take more ground, push back darkness. Remember, you bring value into your home, your work, and your circle. You are not a taker, you are a giver. Abundance is your atmosphere.